Hey y'all, I'm giving dating advice tonight. Don't let me forget to start the dishwasher. I just remember I need to start the dishwasher. Anyway, I like to do this when it gets too late to be up. I like to give dating advice. So this can be advice about somebody that you just met, nobody you've met, dating advice, relationship advice, marriage advice, or divorce advice. Because apparently I'm an expert on that too. But this is not legal advice. Okay? So if you're watching this live, go ahead and like it. Because I see 12 of you guys are tuning, but you're not tapping. Okay? Thank you. So yeah, I am an expert on dating. I was married and I was in a relationship for a really long time, over a decade. And I was married and I'm almost divorced. With my life experience, I think I'm the perfect person to give dating advice. And I think it's fun. Or relationship advice in general. What's up with my phone? Anyway, I'm eating pineapple, so just drop a question below. This pineapple is so freaking good, by the way. Anyway, sometimes people ask me if I'm dating. Yes, I am. I'm only getting to know one person right now. Not by choice. Just because that's the way the chips are falling right now. Thank you, EL. Anyway, I'm dating somebody that I do like actually quite a bit. But they live across the country, so here we are. You like me? Really? Well, join the club. Usually if a guy, sometimes guys, I don't check my TikTok messages, but sometimes guys message me on Instagram. Not all the time, occasionally. And I tell them to send me 3 pictures and a bio. So that's what I call an application. So anyway. I'm 24 and I just started dating this summer. Any advice? Congratulations, Nate. I think it's Nate, right? You just turned 24 and you just started dating. I have a video on my YouTube, Nate. I really want you to go watch it. It's advice that I would give myself in my 20s, or my 20-year-old self. So just go to my YouTube and type in 20s, or it was uploaded within the last 6 weeks. So I want you to go watch that video for all of the advice that I would give myself in my 20s. I think all of the advice that I am giving is really important. And one thing about me is, what do I have to gain by, I'm just trying to help young women, okay? But a couple of things from that video. So one thing I say in the video that I would tell you now is do not get married in your 20s. You're 24 right now. Thank you, Paper Route. You have your whole life to get married. You're 24 and you just started dating. I kind of love that for you because you have at least 6 more years before you have to think about dating anyone seriously, so that you can get to know yourself, have, focus on your passions, your dreams, your own personal desires before you decide to attach yourself to someone permanently. So that's the first thing. Date, have fun, have some life experiences, but do not get married in your 20s. Sometimes people say, well, what if you meet the love of your life? If they're the love of your life, you guys can wait until you are at least 30 before you get married. And I go into depth in the video, but focusing more on yourself allows you to build confidence in your 20s, build your career or your passions or both. No pregnancies in your 20s, right? It allows you to grow and mature and figure out what it is exactly that you want. A lot of mental health issues surface themselves in your 30s for you and or your partner. So I go into depth and I talk about these things in the video, but it's really important that you enjoy dating because everything is low stakes. You don't have to meet your husband and marry him within the next year. You can go on a date with somebody and just see where it goes. My second piece of advice, and I saw somebody else ask something too. Kiana, I saw you. My second piece of advice is do not spend a lot of time or any time, and that's why it's important to date and practice, dating anybody that you don't like. If you have a funny feeling about them, trust your gut. That is God telling you that they are trash. Learn how to listen to yourself and trust yourself so that you don't second guess yourself when you feel like somebody ain't shit. Okay? So don't spend a lot of time dating and spend time in general around people that don't make you happy, bring you joy, energy, light, friends included, when you hang around them. So that's my advice. But Nate, remember, dating is not scary. Things are scary when you are out of control of your own destiny. You are in control when it comes to dating. You have the power. At any given point, you have the power to walk away. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the date. It doesn't matter if it's at the beginning of the date. It doesn't matter if it's the first date or the 40th date. You have the power to walk away as soon as you want and say no. Some things in life are scary when we don't have control, right? We might get pulled over by the police. We live in America. You know what I mean? You might work at a job. You might be afraid. Am I doing the job well? All of those things can have a lot of uncertainty in life. Dating is not one of those things. You have the power. And as long as you remember that, you will be good. And if in any given point you feel like somebody is in power or they have control over you physically or emotionally, it's time to get out. So anyway, I hope that helps. Kiana says, I'm 27 and I need advice for crushing on an acquaintance I volunteer with. I've been using the apps. Kiana, you're 27 and you have a crush. Can you message me for more private messages? Hey, Nico, thank you. Lizzie, I don't check my TikTok messages, okay? I do have a Patreon you can join for free. I have a podcast about intimacy called Jazz After Dark. And I say that because you can email me at jazzafterdark@gmail.com. You can email me there if you want a private, and I answer the questions typically on the podcast. Or you can email helidjazz@gmail.com. And if it's a question regarding infidelity or something like that, I do helide on my page. So you're welcome, Nate. So yeah. Nico, if you ever want me to be on your podcast, you have to email me, because that's a business request. Sorry, I have a lot of emails, different emails. But if you join the Secret Society on my Patreon, you can direct message me as well, and I check those messages, but I do not check TikTok. Too many things. Okay, Kiana said, I'm 27. I need advice for crushing on an acquaintance that I volunteer with. I've been using the apps. Okay, Kiana, I don't know what using the apps has to do with you having a crush. I think maybe you're just letting me know that you're dating because you have a crush on somebody that you volunteer with. There's nothing wrong with having a crush. If this is a man, though, and you volunteer with him and he hasn't asked you out, he doesn't like you. Okay? Is this a man? Because if you hang around a man and you have a crush on him and he hasn't asked you out, or he hasn't made an effort to kind of hang out with you outside of the volunteering, he's not into you. Yeah, or he has a girlfriend, or both. He's not into you because he has a girlfriend, or he's just not into you. But there's nothing wrong with having a crush on him. Just enjoy it. It's a crush. You think he's so cute? You think he's fun to talk to? You think he's fun to hang out with while you volunteer? It makes the volunteering more enjoyable. But yeah. What should I do if I'm codependent on my partner? What do you depend on them for, Liz? Codependent could mean a lot of things. I don't know what that means. What do you depend on them for? Do they pay all your bills? Thank you, Nico. You're dependent on them for love, affection, and an emotional. Torian. Now, depending on your partner for love and affection and your emotional needs sounds normal to me. But what concerns me is you typed that you are codependent on them. Now, I'm here when you guys ask for advice to make a lot of assumptions. Hey, Linda. It sounds like you might need to work on your self-esteem. Because it's not necessarily your partner. You are codependent on external validation. Does this sound correct? Because when I think about somebody who's codependent on their partner for an emotional connection and they think that it is a bit much, it's probably because you can't get those things from yourself. So it leads me to believe that you might need to work on your self-esteem. Because you're outsourcing your self-worth. So if I were you, I would get into therapy as soon as possible. Because you can't outsource your self-worth to somebody else, because at any given time they can take it away. And then you just really believe you ain't shit at this point because they're not there to give it to you. And that's all that self-worth is, right? Being able to source your own worth from yourself versus external things, people, external sources. let me know if I missed something and maybe that's not what's happening. Let me know. I have one or two videos on my YouTube about confidence. I really wanted to start talking about confidence more on my YouTube, but I'm not disappointed that I've been talking about a few other things on my YouTube recently. Like recently I talked about red flags inspired by Nelly and Ashanti. That was the most recent video I did, but excuse me, I'm eating pineapple. Anyway, I say all that to say I've always had pretty good self-esteem, self-worth, right? But I think where I found myself in trouble in the past, my younger self, is that I think I outsourced I think the fact that I have emotional needs, and I like a connection, and I value a connection from my partner in the past, it allowed my partner to have a lot of emotional control over me. Okay? And what I mean by that is if my partner was upset about something, I felt like I had to do something about it. I had to step in. I had to make sure that they were okay. I had to da-da-da-da-da. And when somebody's able to control you in that way, you give them a lot of power. So, you know, when we're talking about, oh, I'm emotionally codependent on this person, I can really relate to that. Not because I was emotionally codependent on my partner, but the opposite. My partner was emotionally codependent on me, and I dropped everything that I was doing to make sure that their emotional needs were being met. But it was a situation where they had so many emotional needs that it kept me constantly emotionally serving them. But it was a power dynamic thing also. So it really kept them in control of me, in control of my emotions, in control of my happiness in the relationship specifically, not life, because I'm a pretty happy person, but that is how it controlled me. So I had to learn that actually I cannot allow this person to control my emotions. I have to detach, and I have to remain in control of my own emotions so that I can have some mental stability here. Or else they're kind of treating you like a puppet. And that's what happens when you give somebody power over you emotionally. They treat you like a puppet, and they have the ability to pull these strings. Oh, Linda, you should send me an email, seriously. Because my podcast, I'm always looking to have guests on. And it is a podcast about intimacy, if you're comfortable with that. But intimacy can mean a lot of different things. But it is kind of sex forward. But I mean, we recently did about an episode about sex and trauma. And I didn't have a doctor on. I had a friend who actually helps individuals and couples with their sex life. But yeah, check out the podcast. That episode is actually free if you just join my Patreon for free. Look it up. It's also maybe on my YouTube, maybe not, but it's on the Patreon. Yeah. yeah, I'm always looking to have guests on to talk about all kinds of things. So let's do it. Yeah, send me an email. My email is bookjazmynw@gmail.com. BOOK, Jazmyn, JAZMYNW @gmail.com. Anyway, what other relationship or dating advice questions do we have? So, with the constant serving, did you feel like you gave that power up because you normally steer from that behavior? No, Jatir, I feel like I gave that power up because I thought, I think I'm just a loving, kind of giving person, and I really thought that in a relationship, I thought that relationship dynamic was normal. I didn't really know anything about emotional manipulation. I didn't know much about that as a 20-year-old woman. Even now, people use the term narcissist very loosely. I'm not saying I was in a relationship. I actually do believe I was in a relationship with a possible narcissist at the time. But I would maybe categorize it as something else other than narcissism as well. Yeah. But there was a lot of narcissist traits there. But I don't think that maybe that was the actual term. Maybe something similar, but not exactly narcissism. But a lot of the traits I saw. But yeah, I did not like. You like to be on my pod, Nico? Nico, you ain't said nothing. All you did was get on here and say you want me on your pod, then I like to be on your pod. You ain't say nothing. See how the other person said, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm a psychotherapist. Da-da-da. Would you date younger? What would you look for? I'm 36. I would date somebody a few years younger than me. I have before. Last year I had a boyfriend. He was 3 years younger than me. It's going to be hard for me to date younger, and I would tell you why it's hard to date younger at this point. Because I have one child. I've been married. I'm almost legally divorced. I'm almost divorced. And I'm not interested in having any more children. What I kind of noticed, maybe this is because I live in LA, a lot of guys who are 35 years old now, they don't have kids. And they want kids, and that's wonderful for them. They won't be getting them from me, though, because I'm not interested in having children. I have one. I'm not interested in giving birth again, getting pregnant again. I'm not interested in taking care of another person, another responsibility. So it's going to be kind of hard to date somebody younger than me, because most men who are my age don't have children. It's a different time, kind of. A lot of men that I meet in California, they don't have children. And some, I've met a couple who have said that, okay, well, I don't have to have kids, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't want kids. So that's the main thing that makes it more difficult to date younger. Am I open to someone who already has children? Yeah, of course. I actually prefer that. I prefer to date somebody who has 1 or 2 kids. 3. You're doing a little bit much. But I've dated guys who have, most of the guys I've dated have 1 already. I did meet a guy, and I went on a date with a guy who had 2. I've been on a couple dates with guys who have 2, but I didn't know he had kids until we got on the date. I didn't know him that well, but we got on a date. He had 2 kids, and I was like, yes. But we never went on a second date. But most of the guys that I've been on dates with or have dated in the past have one kid already, and I like that. Because if you have one kid and I have one kid, it's so simple. Your kid goes to their mom's house every other weekend. My kid goes to their dad's house whenever that nigga's available. And hopefully we can coordinate that, and then we have our own weekends together, and then we have our separate weekends with the kids and stuff. Preston said, I feel you. I have a daughter and I don't want any more kids. Yeah, I don't want no more kids. I would never do that. I would never have another kid. But yeah, I date men with kids. I think it's a little bit ridiculous for me to have a kid, but not to want to date somebody who has a kid. I think that's ridiculous. I've heard women say that. Well, I have a kid, but I don't want my man to have no kids. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. Now, if you don't have any kids and you want somebody who doesn't have kids, that's fine to me. That's fine. That makes sense. You want to start your own family with somebody from scratch. Perfect. So, that's selfish. I don't think it's selfish. I don't think it's selfish when a man or a woman or a person says, I don't have children and I want to date somebody who also doesn't have children. I don't think that's selfish at all. Nothing about that is selfish to me. I think it's just they want to start their own family with someone, you know, so they don't want a blended family, even though it doesn't mean that's how it's going to work out for them, to be honest with you. Because at the end of the day, you having kids with a man. So, okay. I hope it does work out. It doesn't mean it will work out that way, but they want to at least try for it to work out that way. And I understand that 100%. And it's not selfish. I don't think so. I think it makes sense, actually. Just as much as me not wanting to have kids, 2 baby daddies, makes sense to me. The Bible says, be fruitful and multiply. And I said, so what? Any other, who else wants some advice? What other questions do we have? Hey, Philly. So what? So what? So what? So what? Hey, Jackson. Some people don't like it 'cause you hang out in the streets, but you're my boyfriend. Anyway, do I listen to the new Justin Bieber album? No, I didn't listen to the old Justin Bieber album. Just joined. Have we talked about the apps yet? Leave them alone, question mark. Let's talk about the apps. I did an episode of Jazz After Dark about dating apps and why I don't like them. So that episode is on my Patreon, on my secret society. It's the dating apps. Let me block Jay because you're getting on my motherfucking nerves. How about that? I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, oh yeah, I did a whole hour about why I don't like dating apps. I even went through the photos of the app, of the pictures of the men they tried to hook me up with, and I gave y'all proof. But here are the few reasons around why I do not like dating apps, okay? And just stick with me here, okay? I was on Hinge for 48 hours. I didn't like what I saw. I got off immediately. I personally think that the apps are designed to make you feel bad about yourself so that you will pay to see people who are worth seeing. The apps are a business. The business is keeping you on them, and the business is getting you to pay money. Dating apps are a business. The goal is to, with any business, is to make money. So getting on an app and seeing nothing but a bunch of ugly people who are ugly to you, and then feeling like, oh my goodness, let me pay premium so that I can see people who are worth seeing, is ridiculous to me. If you want to see ugly people, you can do that all day on the street out wherever you live. And if you want to pay premium to see people who are maybe better looking to you, you can also do that, and also do it with your friends and get out and go to some events or something like that in the city, and also have an experience instead of laying in bed and swiping left and swiping right. Okay? I think that they bring down your self-esteem. Because imagine, you think that I'm newly divorced. I'm a beautiful woman, single mom of one, I take care of myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I get on the apps and I see a bunch of men who are not worth my time. If I see a bunch of men, and I refuse to pay. That's why I was on there for 48 hours, because after 48 hours, I said, this can't be my fucking options. It can't be. Because it's depressing to me to get on the apps and see a bunch of losers and think that these are my options. These are not my options. Most of these men didn't even have all of their teeths with an F's. I'm sorry. These men look like they would harm me if I met them out in the street. These men didn't even look like they owned phones. They looked like they were in jail. So to get on an app and see people who are not qualified to date me and believe that these are my options, and also believe that these are my options unless I pay more money, is absolutely ridiculous to me. I got off immediately before I started to believe that that was my reality. Dating is supposed to be fun, exciting, a life experience. It's supposed to be engaging. It's not supposed to be desperate. Okay? On the apps, these men look like men at the gas station who approach me and ask me for change. In real life, the reality is I date men who are successful and highly educated. It doesn't mean that they're better catches than some of the other ones I've seen who aren't. But all I'm saying is the reality is much different from the experience on the apps. No, it won't be me. And lastly, I personally think I'm too good to be on them. I do. And it's from what I've seen. Like, the guys on there, when I first got on, they look like guys my dad hang out with. And I damn sure don't date none of my daddy's friends. So why would I be on the apps? No. The answer is no. So, yeah. I don't like apps. I don't like dating apps. I don't believe in them. I've had, friends who tell me, hey, Jazz, the apps, they're just a numbers game. I don't believe in numbers games when it comes to playing with me and my self-esteem. I thought, and initially I got on the apps because I was, I've been separated from my soon-to-be ex-husband since I was pregnant. And when my baby turned 1, I decided I'm ready to date and I haven't had sex in a while. So can we get it popping up in here? And I got onto the apps and I was like, I'm just looking for, it's got to be easy to find somebody to sleep with on here. Like a little situationship, a little friends with benefits, a little booty call. I got on there. I didn't want to call any of those booties. So what the fuck am I doing up in here? No, I'm good. Found one in real life. Definitely prefer meeting someone at the grocery store, gym, etc. in person than on an app. Yeah, Jewel, I love that name, by the way. Yeah. All the men that I've ever dated since I've been single, I've met them in a few ways. Through friends. That's the number one way to meet somebody. I met them out and about. But through friends is the number one way. Through friends is the number one way. That's why I'm going to give y'all my number one dating tip next. But through friends, out and about. Out and about sometimes works, but don't really go nowhere, honestly. And out and about means like hobbies and stuff like that. It's all connected. And on the internet, in my DMs. So, yeah. Oh, my number one piece of advice for meeting people outside of apps. Say yes to the things you get invited to. And people think when they get invited to something, hey Vita, that they're going to meet their husband at the event they get invited to. Not necessarily, but that's not why you say yes. You say yes, you go out, you have fun. You do the thing that you get invited to. You go out, you have fun, you meet new people, you make new friends. The more acquaintances you have that you really enjoy being around, the more things you get invited to that you wouldn't have gotten invited to before. And those people cast out a wider net for you to possibly come into contact with more people whose company you might enjoy. Male or female or non-binary. So yeah, say yes to the things that you get invited to, because staying up in the house and saying no and turning everybody down every time they invite you to do things or go places ain't gonna get you nowhere. It's not gonna get you friends, community, and it ain't gonna get you a partner. And it ain't gonna get you on no date. So, yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. You know what? Hell yeah. Sorry. I accidentally closed the app. Jewel mentioned the gym. I got a gym membership. It's almost been a year I've had a gym membership. And the gym is, in my opinion, is not a good place to meet people because we've told men not to approach us at the gym. And I will admit, when I go to the gym, I'm kind of focused on my workout. I do go to the gym. The reason I got a gym membership, one of the reasons is because I wanted to look at men at the gym. I needed a little bit of eye candy. I needed a little bit of motivation. Again, I've had a gym membership for almost a year. And I work from home. I'm a mom. I don't get out a lot. I needed to go to the gym so I can see some niggas. And I see some when I go, but they've never even really smiled at me at the gym. And maybe it's because I go looking like this. I don't know, but they gay? Probably, but it doesn't matter. I still look at them. User 303 says, I'm such an introvert. I've accepted I'm going to be single forever, and I'm okay with that. Well, you just spoke that over your life and you will be single. And you're okay with it. Now, I'm not religious. I grew up going to church, but there are a few things from my upbringing in church that I truly believe in. And one thing that I believe in is the tongue is powerful. I even tell my 3-year-old child, I say, the tongue is powerful. Speak life. Speak life over yourself. If you truly want to be alone, then say, I am introverted. I will be single for the rest of my life. And I am okay with that. Make that your mantra. But if you are actually not okay with that, and it's just some shit you saying because you've accepted the fact that you are too introverted to be in love, you might want to change that mantra. Because introverted people fall in love all the time, every day. I only date introverted men for the most part. Honestly, I love them. I love a man who just But I'm actually dating somebody right now who's not introverted. It's crazy. And we really are like see each other. Crazy, but not my boyfriend. Just somebody I'm talking to. Introverts can be awkward. Yeah. Extroverts can be awkward too. I'm up late every night. It's kind of my thing to stay up late every night. Like I like it. So yeah. Where did the introvert go? You disappeared, honey. Back into your tortoise shell? Come out. Okay. Anyway, what dating advice? Who else needs dating advice? What do you think about you can't do magic on me, honey. Magic that you doing don't work on me. If he or she's not cheating or beating, you can work it out. Okay, TikTok Tosh, come here real quick. I need you to zoom in real quick. Don't ever say that shit again, okay? Don't say that shit again. Don't ever. Okay, because I hate what you just said. Now, as far as what I think about that, I think that's a terrible saying, because there are such things as financial abuse and emotional abuse. And I talk about this every single time I go live, just about the Black community. We are not taught, and we don't talk enough about emotional abuse. We think that cheating and physical abuse are the only reasons, and sometimes not even enough, to leave somebody. But you may be in an emotionally abusive relationship. You may be in a relationship where you're not being served. Your emotions are not being cared for. You could just not be cared for in general. You may be in a relationship where somebody is financially abusing you, whether they're taking advantage of you or whether they make all the money and they're financially controlling you. There are many reasons to leave a relationship, and those are not the only two. So yeah, I don't like that saying at all. Don't ever repeat it, if you don't mind. Okay, good. I'd rather be by myself and be happy than be with someone and be miserable. Okay, I know that's right, 303. And you're back. And why are you typing in all caps? We see you, baby. Don't worry. Hey, Marcia. Look at that beautiful smile. Nico, let me tell you something about what the rules for my page, okay, honey? You can stay here and join us in the conversation and what we're talking about, okay? But you can't lust for free, okay? So my Cash App is $Jazmyn Funny. Make sure you spell Jazmyn right. JAZMYNFUNNY. And my Venmo is comedian Jazmyn W. Okay, COMEDIAN Jazmyn W. Make sure you spell Jazmyn right. Because lusting is not free, honey. Join the conversation and talk about dating. Okay, because the men either have to pay money or be mute if you're not going to be talking about what we're talking about, okay? All right, thank you. Another one, thank you. Did we speak before about lives? I don't think so. Okay, I love your lives. You're so funny. Oh, you're welcome, 303. Thank you, TikTok Tash. So yeah, if y'all have questions about dating, Nico, drop them below. Okay. The thing about this is why I do not create content for men. I don't create content for men. I talk about this all the time. Men can enjoy it, but I don't create content for men because men don't typically buy tickets to comedy shows. They don't buy my merch. They don't buy tickets for other women. They don't pay for things. They don't pay for join my Patreon. They don't. They just, most of the time, that's why it's true, 80% of my following is women. And I love it, and I love that here on TikTok. Look at the WNBA. Yeah, look at the stands. A lot of men do not buy tickets. That's why they don't make a profit. The men do not support women at a grand scale, and this is very true. And this is proven. I'm a stand-up comedian. I've been doing stand-up for 11 years. My father opened up for me in Dallas too last weekend. But my dad was on tour with me last year, and he said, "Where are the men?" I think because my dad assumed because I'm beautiful and talented that there would be a lot of men who would come to my shows and see my shows. It's not the truth. I said, "Dad, men don't support women." It's 90% black women at my shows, and then 10% like some women who aren't black and queer men. Now gay men, they will support, but straight men, they don't. That's why when you go to a Meg Thee Stallion concert, Meg Thee Stallion shakes ass. She's beautiful. She's very talented rapper. She makes great music. Do you see men at her shows? No. Because men don't support women. The tongue is powerful. This is data. This is not a manifestation. Nico, do not get blocked talking about Nicki Minaj, okay? Because I'm not a fan anymore. Okay? You'd watch the WNBA if they could dunk. Yeah, you prove my point. You don't watch the WNBA. So if you would watch if is not a I do watch because. I don't watch sports at all, so it's not entertaining. Okay. You prove my point. You're not entertained by women. This is what men like to do. They like to get, I have data to prove this, but they like to get on live and they like to argue with women more than they like to actually support them. So whenever I say something, it's because I have data to prove. I have data on the amount of women that follow me and men that follow me. I have data on the people who actually support my Patreon, mostly women. I have data on people who purchase merch. I have data on people who attend my shows. I've studied this. I've been a female comedian in a male-dominated industry for over a decade. I see the numbers on stats, not just my own, but my peers. When I talk about this, I'm an expert. This is not a trauma. This is data-driven. Men do not support women. You're saying how you feel. That's fine. And I'm telling you what I know. Give me an example of a woman that you did purchase or you did support financially, somebody that you are not romantically attached to and not your mom, not your mother. How can you send money? You can join my Patreon. The link is in my bio. I have a podcast that I do every week called Jazz After Dark. The Patreon is your daughter does not count. It's your legal responsibility to take care of your daughter. You don't have that app though? Okay. TikTok Tosh, they are saying how they feel, but I have data. This is the industry that I work in. And I gave multiple examples. You can look at women in entertainment. Look at their audience. The man just said, how can I support you? I told him and he said, I don't have the app. Yeah, nobody has the Patreon app before they download it. It's easy to download. But there are men who have podcasts who shouldn't even have podcasts, but the men are listening to them and supporting them because it is internalized misogyny, right? They would rather listen to a stupid man and support them with their eyes, their ears, their attention, and their dollars even. And we have data to prove it. Because look at Andrew Schultz. Look at Joe Rogan. Look at the dumb, stupid guys who have a podcast and all they do is sit around and talk about women all day. Look at Joe Budden. You go to clubs? Okay, well, come see me. I'll be in New York on August 23rd doing 1 hour. And if you join the Patreon for free or just pay attention, then I'll be in Chicago at the end of September. I'm still working on finalizing the details. You live in Africa? Oh, sucks for you. Anyway, if anyone needs dating advice, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. Some of y'all need it. I have a whole comedy playlist and I have a whole YouTube channel. I'm sure you have a YouTube. But let me guess, you need to figure out what my YouTube page is too. When's your birthday, TikTok Tosh? Let me know and I'll tell you. Because I think the Chicago show is... Actually, I want to know when your birthday is first. $9:30. Okay, I think the show is like 9:25 or 9:20. I think August the 23rd is the New York show. 9:25, I think, is the Chicago show that I'm working on. So exactly, black profile picture. Yeah, it is. But the reason why I don't create content for men, and I tell men that they can't hang around my page and lust after me, I block them after a while. I blocked a man today. Every time I post, he commented, "Jazmyn, you're just so beautiful. I just love looking at you." Ain't commented a laugh emoji. Ain't commented a he or hardy har. Ain't clicked the link to subscribe to the Patreon. Ain't watched the YouTube. Ain't said I love the lip gloss. Just talks about lusting after me. Blocked. Maybe you're not funny to him. Well, you know what's funny to me? Yo ass getting blocked. And here it comes right now. Everybody get ready to laugh. Because that's what some men do. They love to just suck your energy. They're not here to provide any value. Value is contributing to the conversation, not derailing it. Value is contributing financially. Value is contributing. I don't allow men to suck my energy. I allow you to suck something else. I got 2 things you can suck. Energy is not on the list. 3 things, actually. Any advice on coming back to yourself and breaking through fears of dating again after abuse? Have you been to therapy, Yazzie? Just drop it, Ashley. Just curious, Yazzie. Have you been to therapy? Let me know. And I just want to say that talk therapy is not necessarily a solution for every single person. But because I was in therapy for years, I do recommend it, just because it provides you with the tools that you might need to be able to tackle future obstacles. Okay? And that's what talk therapy did for me. It didn't like heal me, right? But now I have the tools to be able to tackle future obstacles, and I love that for me. I wouldn't consider myself a feminist at all, because many times we associate feminism with white women. I consider myself to be exactly what I am. But sure, some people may consider me a feminist. Some people may consider me a leftist based on my views. Who knows? I don't spend a lot of time with the labels. Yazzie, you're welcome. But yeah, if I had to give you any advice about moving forward after a relationship that has maybe caused you some post-traumatic stress disorder, I've been there, I would say is be proud of yourself for moving forward and getting out of that relationship, number one. A lot of women, a lot of people are not able to do that. So be glad, be proud. You are a bad bitch. And don't forget it. So now because you do have that life experience, you have some tools to never get into that position ever again. So use them. That's it. How long have I been doing this? I've been doing this for a long time. I just do it for, I do it for fun. You do it? Okay, anyway. JD said, what do I, Miss Andress? Maybe. What do you find attractive about a man? What's a man? No, I'm playing. I like men who are, besides the obvious things, right? I like men who are smart. That's probably my first thing. I love a guy who's smart. I love a nerd. I love a guy who is really smart, because whenever I talk to them, I love somebody who's quick. I'm a comedian. I'm very witty. I'm very let me block Matt, because it's nothing for me to block a white man. Like anyway, I love a guy who is quick. When I make a joke, I love a little something back to me so I can laugh, because I love to laugh. I love guys who are funny, and you have to be smart around me to make me laugh. So I like that. And I like a guy who is driven. I consider myself to be very driven. I'm very passionate about my career, and I like somebody who's passionate about the things that they're doing too. So, yeah. Those are my things that I like, besides like the obvious of like good hygiene and a nigga who floss. Is the guy I'm dating funny? He is funny. Yes, Yazzie. Yeah. He's very funny, actually. Like, there's not that many guys that can make me laugh. And I've dated some guys who can make me laugh, though. I used to think my ex-husband, baby daddy, was funny. Not anymore. Nothing funny about that. I dated a guy. I could count the men on my one hand who have made me laugh I was married for a long time, but like, I dated a guy in high school who could really make me laugh. I'm talking about crying laughing. He was so funny. And then I would say my baby daddy used to be able to make me laugh. Like, I thought he was funny for, when we were together. And then the guy I dated last year could totally make me laugh. Like, I thought he was very smart and like very nerdy and very quick. Like, he could make me laugh. And then this guy he really makes me laugh. Like, I was crying laughing with him the last time we hung out. So, yeah. And it's very rare that a man can make me cry laughing, because I love to laugh. When I tell y'all I kiki, I was laughing. So, JD, you love somebody funny? Yeah. Yeah, most of the time I make guys laugh. Like, if the guys are smart and like, if I don't make stupid guys laugh at all. I make them upset. If you're stupid, I'm bound to make you mad. If you are smart, guys who are smart, they love me, because they're like, yeah, she funny. I can curse you out very well. I think about the wit when it's too late. Yes, LSP, I love when somebody can make me laugh. I do. I'm trying to think. The New York guy, what's something he said that made me laugh recently? That was inappropriate. Let me try to think of something that wasn't. I can't think of anything. There was a couple of the New York guy, actually, there were a couple of things that he said that I actually screenshot because I thought they were so funny. I was like, I have to save this because if I ever write a script, I'm supposed to be writing something right now, a script. I was like, this has to be in the script. This is so funny. Like, that funny. Like, to the point where it was actually it actually hit me intellectually as a comedian, where I was like, wasn't even laughing out loud. I was just like, this is hilarious. Like, this is so funny. I have to write this down. So, but I would never tell him that. I was like, I just said, this is hilarious. Like, so he's really funny, but he's smart. But the only thing about him is he's a New Yorker. So he's very, 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 like, he has a good job, but he's very street smart. And I love when I meet somebody who is street smart. Like, this guy's not that nerdy. He's probably one of the least nerdiest guys I've ever dated. But, like, he's so street smart. Like, he's just smart. And I'm smart in a different way. So, yeah. Have I ever gotten the ick from a guy's type of humor or lack of humor? Oh, absolutely, LSP. I'm going to put the video out this week. I recorded this video 2 weeks ago, but I do these videos of, I used to do them monthly, the list of things that a man said that gave me the ick this month. This next one that I'm going to put out is from one conversation with a man. And this is why, and I'm going to put out a short form video and a long form YouTube video about it. But this guy was a doctor. And it just goes to show that just because you have an education doesn't mean you're smart. You could be an idiot. But he gave me the ick so bad during our conversation. And it was because I feel like he was a coon. And for the white people on here, basically he had internalized white supremacy. And I don't like men like that. I don't like black men who think that because they became a doctor that black people need to do better and most of us are lazy kind of mentality that he had. And I don't like that. And there were so many things during our conversation that he said that gave me the ick. That basically we met on Sunday. We talked on the phone on Sunday night for 30 minutes. We had a good conversation. We planned a date for Tuesday, or he was going to plan the date. He was like, I'm going to come, I'm going to pick you up, blah, blah, blah. Cool. We talked on Monday night. He ended up calling me because he was actually on call at the hospital. And he was like, hey, do you mind if I call you? We can talk on the phone for a bit. I said, yeah. We got on the phone. By the end of the call, I had canceled the date on Tuesday. I said, you know what, baby? I'm good. Never spoke to the man again. He was a black American. He was a black American who had internalized white supremacy and preconceived and actually negative ideals around black American people. Exactly, 303. It was given very much MAGA to me. But what's crazy is he probably voted for Kamala, but like, the conversation started when he was like, he said something about intelligence. And I was like, well, being smart is subjective, right? He was like, no, it's not. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, there are tests to determine who's smart and who's not. I said, okay, but you're talking to a comedian. I know plenty of comics who are geniuses. And they're not highly educated. So And he was like, there are tests to determine who's smart. And I was like, and who comes up with the tests? He was like, the people who grade the tests. I was like, white men. He was like, okay. Is it not clicking with you that there's a problem with that? I said, okay, do you not agree that just because you know a lot about one particular thing doesn't mean that you are smarter than somebody who, you're a doctor, you know a lot about something that you studied for a really long time, but don't you think that somebody who knows a lot about anthropology can also be smart? They don't know the same thing as you. And he was like, I see what you're saying, but... And I was like, okay, let's get into people who have autism, right? I've worked with people who are on the spectrum. I used to hire engineers who are on the spectrum, and they may not be able to have like the same sort of like social conversations or, you know, meet the same social standards that we create or people have created, but they're super highly intelligent. They've taught themselves how to code. They know a lot about one particular thing, but they are geniuses. But because they don't know, they might not perform well on a test. Are you saying that they're not smart? And he basically said, yes, that's what he's saying. I said, wow, that is ableism. And you're a doctor. Yeah, this is going to be the end of our conversation. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the end of our conversation. So, yeah. That was the last time a man gave me the ick immediately. And he was stupid. Sorry, I'm not going to say he was smart. He was very dumb. Very dumb. And yeah, who said that? TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. Tosh, he did look up to Asian people because he said that they were the wealthiest. So 303, right. What do I think is appropriate for the first date? We have too many rules. I think we have too many rules. I think that you should determine what you want the first date to be depending on the person. I wish we didn't have as many rules because me personally, it's a personal opinion, but I would rather somebody take me to do something completely different. So I don't necessarily think we need to sit down at a dinner and like go through the whole dinner thing. Sometimes it feels a bit formal. What city do you live in, JD? I'll tell you. What city do you live in? Let me know. I'll give you a suggestion. You live in Austin. Ooh, okay. I'm from Dallas. I've been to Austin several times. See, I feel like a lot, I don't know if you date women, JD, but I feel like I think my southern accent's gonna come out in just a second. I feel like a lot of people just like, they don't know how to date, JD. JD, they don't know how to date. They don't know how to fucking date, JD. They don't. I just feel like if I was in Austin, you know, perfect date for me. One of my favorite hotels to stay at in Austin is the Line Hotel. The Line Hotel. You know what I'd want to do? I'd want to get in my bathing suit. I'd want to go by the Line Hotel. I'd want to sip margaritas in my bathing suit all afternoon. They have a little window that you can walk up to and you can order vegan queso. They have a little restaurant. I think it might be no, I don't think it's vegan, but they have vegan options. They have a little Mexican Tex-Mex restaurant, and the Line Hotel has a little fucking window. You can walk up to that window and you can order your Tex-Mex, and they have some vegan queso. It's so good. And I would just want to lay out by the pool. It's summertime. It's hot. I would want to lay out by the pool, order a few margaritas in my swimsuit or my cover up, and put my feet in the pool on the first date. That sounds like a good fucking first date to me. JD invited me down to the Line Hotel. He came and got me, or we met there, who fuck cares. And we laid out by the pool like hotel guests for 3 hours. And we had margaritas, and we walked up to that little window, and we had the best vegan fucking queso I've ever had in my life. That is a good fucking first date. But then, I'm so sorry, I have to get on women for just a few minutes. Yazzie. Women, sometimes I think we have to calm the fuck down. Because I can already imagine what some women would say. Oh, JD invited me down to the Line Hotel. He's trying to get me in my swimsuit. Trying to get me in a bikini? This is our first date. Slow down. You're trying to get me in my unmentionables on the first fucking date? No, take me to a nice dinner. I don't want to be out in the hot. I'm sweaty. I can't. Oh my God, just calm the fuck down and wear your cover up or whatever the hell you're gonna wear. Then go down to Sandy's down the street for a pineapple shake. See, I never been to Sandy's. Akeem, what is you talking about? And why? Don't change your profile picture every fucking day, Akeem. Okay? Because I try to keep up with the people on my live. But I never had a pineapple shake, but I love a pineapple shake, honey. Especially after the pool, because I've got my clothes back on. Now you thinking, JD. Now you talking. Now you talking. So, yeah, that's what I would say for a first date. That's what I would say for a first date. You're welcome. Yes, Yazzie. This is why I give dating advice, because I'm good at it. What about a mid-afternoon coffee date at Alfred? Here's the thing about me personally. I don't really love a coffee date, because just like the dinner date, it doesn't feel natural to me. It doesn't feel natural. I love Alfred, but a mid-afternoon coffee date at Alfred sounds like a nice date for me and my boyfriend. If my boyfriend said, meet me at Alfred at 1 p.m., I want to have coffee with you. Ugh. My coochie is alert. But the first date, it feels like, okay. I don't know. Alfred's not even like a new coffee shop. Just give me a new coffee shop that I've never been to, one with a nice ambiance. You know, there's some coffee shops. I love coffee shops. I love coffee shops. So you're not going to excite me with an Alfred. You know, you can excite me a little bit, or somebody who maybe not even as into coffee, with like a Cafe Nido. Are you in LA? You can excite me with a little Cafe Nido. Okay, now we're getting closer. My friend Mike, who I'm going to work with on a project, he's new to LA. We had a coffee meeting. This is just a meeting we had, just to catch up as friends. We're comics. And I said, have you been to this coffee shop? I sent him a brand new coffee shop, just so he could try the coffee shop. He new to LA. And he was like, this is a cool kind of place. It's kind of like a little TikTok place. And I was like, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I used to live in San Francisco, Dev the Great One. So don't take me to know. If you're in San Francisco, The perfect date in San Francisco. Oh my God, what is this place called? I used to live in San Francisco for 5 years. You go have a drink. Oh, they changed it. There was this little underground speakeasy it was in an old paper mill, an old newspaper factory or something like that. And you go down there, the ambiance down there was just so nice. But my best friend, I was in San Francisco in January, and he told me that they changed it. But there was this little bar. It was actually pretty big. It was a bar, and it had a very dark vibe and like red drapes, and it was like a typewriter themed or like an old paper mill, and it was a speakeasy, and the vibes down there were so good. In fact, I'll tell y'all a little thing about me. I got married in San Francisco. The night before I got married, it was not a big wedding, but like my family and friends flew in, and my family and friends, we met at that little bar late, and all the people who had flown in, who were kind of already there, met, and we all had like drinks and stuff at that little bar in San Francisco. And that's one of my favorite places. It was just me, my parents, some of my cousins and stuff. It was fun. But yeah, that's where I would do it. And I forgot what that place is called. But Google it. It's right off of Market Street. So, like, right off of Market Street in the financial district. Like, Market and, like, 2nd, I think, because I used to work right there. But yeah. If y'all are looking for another date idea, drop another city. I've been to a lot of cities because I'm a stand-up comedian, so I've been to a lot of cities. I might not know like everything about the city, but if it's a major city and I've done comedy there, then I love to explore. I love to travel. So St. Louis, I did comedy in St. Louis like 2 years ago, but I stayed in like the main square, the Rittenhouse Square, whatever I think is what it's called, but I don't know that much about the city. Atlanta. TikTok, Tosh, I've only lived in San Francisco, LA, and Dallas. But because I like to travel and because I'm 36 years old, I've definitely lived. I'm very thankful. Okay, Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta a few times, but I feel like I need to go to Atlanta. Like, I don't know Atlanta well enough to suggest a date there. I don't. I'm sorry, y'all. How do you feel about a club date if both of y'all like to dance? I love to go out. I go out by myself all the time. I love to go out and dance. I think that's fine if you're well acquainted with the person. JD, you like the East Atlanta area? Okay. What's over there? But I feel like some dates you just have to be a little bit more acquainted with each other. Virtual reality place? Nah, TikTok, Tosh, nah. You gotta put on the head things? You can't even talk. How do you feel about if his birthday is 6/24, yours is 6/28, you're on bed resting, he just texts happy birthday? Perfume, you have to tell me how long y'all been dating. Is this your man? How long y'all been dating? Is this your boyfriend? Is this somebody you went on one date with? Have you been on a date? What's the proximity here? Because though the proximity is so important in relationships, Perfume, Buzz. So tell me, you have to tell me, have y'all been on any dates? You have to tell me a little bit more about this before I come to a conclusion. And y'all like this live. We got a lot of likes. But anyway, as far as going out and dancing, like, I like to go out and dance. I like to have a good time, but we have to be comfortable around each other, because that's a situation where we don't necessarily have to talk. You know, laid back people, chill restaurants and bars in East Atlanta. Okay. You can talk, and it's great to see how they communicate and under pressure. Oh, okay, you can talk. Okay. Oh, okay. I was thinking VR is like, you know what I'm saying? No eye contact. No, a high school classmate who has been chasing me for years, and I finally started talking to him. Here's the thing, Perfume Buzz. How old are you? That's my last question. Just tell me how old you are. Tell me how old you are. You 45. Okay, that changes things. I didn't think you were going to say 45. Okay. Here's the thing, Perfume Buzz. Okay. This is just my advice. Okay? Okay. His birthday is 6/24. Your birthday is 6/28. His birthday is before your birthday. I'm assuming you didn't get him nothing. That's the first thing. The second thing, you on bed rest. He can't ask you on a date. So he sent you a happy birthday text. Because you can't go nowhere. The third thing is, it sounds like this is not your man. Y'all haven't been on no dates. Y'all are just talking. What you think he should do? If y'all ain't never been on a date, y'all just talking. His birthday is before yours. You didn't get him nothing. You probably texted him happy birthday, and he texts you back happy birthday on your birthday. This is not your man. This is not your boyfriend. This is not somebody who it doesn't really even sound like y'all are moving towards, or he's actively pursuing you. You haven't been on any dates. He started pursuing you, but he ain't took you nowhere. Did you tell him happy birthday on his birthday? Did you get anything for his birthday? Did you say, let's hang out for your birthday? Let's hang out for our birthday? What did you do on his birthday? You skipped over that, Perfume Buzz. What did we do for his birthday? Did you even say, man, I wish I didn't break my ankle because our birthdays are so close together? Anything. Did you give him anything? A text for his birthday? You know, so I'm building a case here. His birthday is before your birthday. You told him happy birthday. He told you happy birthday on your birthday. Y'all haven't been anywhere. You wished him happy birthday and you called him. Okay. Y'all haven't been anywhere. Y'all haven't done anything. Y'all are not anything. That's not your man. You're not his woman. Y'all not together. Y'all are nothing at this point. Y'all are friends from high school. He texted you happy birthday. Okay. So, but y'all are nothing. So he has no obligation to really do anything, you know. He is pursuing me to the level of that, but he hasn't done anything. Like, and I just want to be clear here. When I say somebody is pursuing me, he hasn't pursued anything yet. I would say he's not pursuing you. I would argue and say that he's not pursuing you. He might be texting you a lot, and you finally replying back, because it sounds like he's been pursuing you for a very long time and you was ignoring him. But now you decided to text him back. So he's actually not pursuing you. He's just talking to you, and you finally started talking back to him. Pursuing you, in my opinion, is him saying, let's meet up. Let's go some. Okay. He did invite you to the movies. Oh, I'm sorry. 303. Okay. That's not you. So he's not pursuing you. He's just poking you at this point. You know, like they used to do on Facebook? He's poking you. Do, 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 do. Trying to see if you gon' No, he calls a lot and he has said, let's do something, but I can't. Okay, I'm confused because if he's asked you to do something, then why are you saying he just told you happy birthday on your birthday? And then you say he calls a lot. Here's the thing. Here's what I have to say about this perfume buzz. This is just my advice because you asked. I think that you're about to settle for somebody that you don't like. I think you're about to start having a conversation and pursuing somebody or allowing somebody that you don't like to pursue you. If you like them, you would have talked to them 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago. But you haven't. You're talking to them now. When you disabled because your foot is broken and you're bored, you're at home. Stop talking to this person. You don't like them. And that's the bottom line. Take a look at Nelly and Ashanti. Don't go backwards. Because I said they're not pursuing you. Then you said, but what, they are pursuing me. And I said, they didn't ask you to go nowhere, but what they did ask me. That's what you're doing when you're trying to rationalize talking to somebody that you don't like. Okay? So, leave them where they at in high school. And if you're bored, get on a dating app and peruse around and look at some more people that you probably not gonna like while you at home. But leave this person alone. You don't like them. Okay? Go ahead and block them. Okay? All right. Perfume, you don't like him. Block him. You are absolutely correct, and I did. You know what's ironic? Today, I have a podcast about intimacy that I do every week called Jazz After Dark. Today's episode was called How to Take Care of Your Partner When They're Sick. Click the link in my bio. Join the Secret Society on my Patreon to listen to the episode. And this is like temporary illness, what we talked about it. Is what we talked about. And it was inspired because I was under the weather. I'm finally feeling better today. But I was under the weather this whole week. And I am talking to a man who lives in New York. And I told him I was under the weather. And he offered to send me soup. And I said no because I had already eaten by the time he offered. And he said, oh, you know, he did check on me and stuff like that. But I ended up telling the man, and I talked about it on the podcast today. I said, but I ended up telling him the next day because I spent the first day asleep because I barely rest as it is. But I was like, I just need a rest. So I was asleep all day. And the next day I told him, I said, you know, I feel like if I'm sick, you should have done something. He was like, I offered to, you know, send you soup, but you said that no, you said no, you know, and I told you what to do to like get better. You know, I offered to help. And I was like, you know, yeah, but I'm expecting like a call. You know, I'm expecting some flowers. If I say I'm not feeling good, I'm sick, I'm expecting a man to do something more. And he was like, why would you want flowers? That's not going to make you better. And now I'm giving you work because now you got to find a vase. And I was like, he was like, and why would you want me to call you? You supposed to be resting, not talking on the phone. Yeah, his love language and a lot of niggas' love language is to try to solve the problem instead of trying to solve how to make you feel good in the moment. And I told the man, I said, that's why you don't have a girlfriend. Because you don't know what to do. And he was like, okay, maybe you're right. That's why I don't have a girlfriend. And I was like, yeah. And then I bought myself flowers from Trader Joe's. Actually, I bought my flowers before that conversation, but I did buy myself flowers. But anyway, we talked about it on the podcast today. Did I overreact? Or I didn't overreact. I just communicated how I felt. I just felt like he's not my boyfriend or anything, but like if you're trying to get coochie, then give me some chrysanthemums. Perfume buzz, right. But did you like him though, or did he already give you the ick? No, I do like him. And I do like him, you know. We've been friends for a while too, so I think I'm just more open to share how I feel about. I didn't like say, oh, I was upset or anything. I just said, hey, you should be doing something. Like, I'm expecting something. And he was like, okay, let's talk about this. Like, and we talked about it, and he said what he said, and I said what I said. And that was the end of it. But it wasn't nothing to make me feel like I need to stop talking to him or nothing. It was just kind of like, well, here we go. But I do think we like each other, so. JD, I'm gonna make a video about it. Let me take a screenshot so I remember tomorrow. But yeah. Anyway, today he was like, he texts me all the time, but today he was like, I'll be in New York for a few days, you guys. I'm going to London, and then on the way back from London, I'm stopping in New York for a couple of days by myself. And I've had this trip planned since like the beginning of since like maybe March-ish, April. And I actually plan to stop in New York to see another man, hang out with another guy that I'm not talking to anymore. And then me and this guy, like, we've been friends, but we started kind of like talking a little bit more often, which has been interesting. But yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna be in New York, and he lives in New York. And so today he texted me. He was like, hey, what time do you land in New York when you come? And I told him I land in the evening. And he said, okay. I said, why, you plan on picking me up from the airport? He was like, I'll send you a car, but I don't think I'm going to be off of work by that time, but I'll send you a car. And I was like, it's not a big deal, because navigating the airport from New York to me is very complex. And I don't know how to catch a car. I don't know how. I really don't. And he was just telling me, you just get off on Jamaica. And I was like, I know, I do that every time, but it's just very stressful for me to, and he was like, okay, well, he was talking me through it, and I was like, okay. And then he was like, okay, I'm trying to plan our weekend in New York. I'm like, I didn't make plans with this man. I just said I was going to be in town, and I told him. But he was like, do you have any other plans with anybody else? I said, yeah, I have coffee with a friend one of the days. I don't know exactly when, one of the mornings. And he's like, okay. But I was like, oh, is he trying to like plan the weekend? That's nice. And he was like, I just want to take you to like as many places as possible. I was like, oh, I've been to New York several times, but I think he's making an effort to be like, okay, I want to show you around New York. Like, you never hung out with New York with me. I have actually, but like, not the whole weekend, a couple days. So, but I did plan this trip to kind of like rest a little bit after coming back from London, because me and my girls are probably going to go pretty hard. But yeah, YOLO, life is short, so let's have fun. That's a man. One thing I do like about this guy, he's very chivalrous. That's funny. He just texted you and asked if you was coming to the annual classic picnic. Perfume Buzz, you just gotta figure out what you're gonna do. You don't like this man though. You gonna block him, or you gonna say, yeah, I'm coming to the picnic, don't worry about it, or you gonna just, wow, if you going to the picnic, say you going to the picnic, okay? Because you don't want to. Here's the thing, Perfume Buzz. You're not going to the picnic, okay? As soon as I realize I'm not interested in somebody, I just let them know. I don't like to do a whole lot of back and forth, a whole lot of, I think it's, I just personally think that there are so many people who are on the fence about things, especially when it comes to dating. I try not to waste people's time. And be cautious of being on the fence. If I go out on a date with somebody and, hey, Anissa, and I'm not feeling them, I say, you know what? I just did this a month ago. I had a coffee date with a guy. I don't really like coffee dates, but we had lunch at the this little coffee place, a nice coffee place here in LA. And he asked me for coffee, and I said yes because I didn't know if I was like super attracted to him. He was a bit awkward when I met him in person. I met him through a friend, but I met him in person. He was a bit awkward, and so I was like, okay. So he asked me for a coffee date. I said yes. Usually, if it was a guy that I was like super into, I would have said no to a coffee date. I would have been like, that's not sexy. I'm trying to be sexy. Anyway, so we went on a coffee date, and then the next day, we ended up having, and for anybody who says coffee dates are faster, that was a 3-hour fucking coffee date. And then that night, he ended up saying, hey, can I call you? We talked on the phone. It let me know further that this was not a match. And so the next day I texted him. I said, hey, you know what? I really enjoyed our date yesterday. I think you're super, you're super sweet, but I just don't see a romantic connection between us. And I tell men that as soon as I feel like there's not a romantic connection between us, I tell men that. Because on the phone, he's talking about oh, I love to travel too. Oh, I have points. Oh, I can upgrade you. Oh, we can go to Jamaica. Oh, This man said, I can add you to my credit card. Like, keep in mind, I like smart nerds. This man was a professor. I was like, baby, I had to tell, I don't like to waste people's time. So the next day I said, had a great convo. We had some great conversation. I don't see a romantic connection between us, really. It's more of a friendship thing, but if you would like to hang out as friends, I would totally be down. And he was like, okay. Men who are decent people really, really do appreciate that. Okay. Every time I've ever told a man since I've been dating the past couple of years, I don't see a romantic connection between us. They always say, totally appreciate you just saying that. And then he invited me to his birthday. He was like, his birthday was like a few days later, and I ended up texting him. I said, hey, happy birthday. I saw it on Instagram. And he was like, hey, me and my friends are hanging out tonight for my birthday if you want to come through. And I was like, you know what? I would, but there was some reason. I was like, I told him my social battery is done for the day. And he was like, oh, okay, I get that or whatever, because I had been hanging out earlier. And so, yeah, it was cool. Like, we were cool. It was, Also, somebody brought up coffee dates. Who was that? Dev the Great brought up a coffee date. This is the one other thing I will say about coffee dates that I realized after that date. When that man called me, oh, you said that, Crown, too. When that man called me that night, he was like, I kind of wanted to kiss you today. And I was thinking, or he texted me maybe and said this, I wanted to kiss you today. I was like, I'm glad you didn't, because it was daylight. Do I want my first kiss with a man to be during the daylight? I don't know. Something about it. No. Something, not the first kiss. I want it to be at night. Why I want to kiss you at 2 o'clock for our first kiss? It just doesn't, the vibes don't seem right. The vibes just don't seem right at 2 o'clock. That don't feel right. Okay, let's see what somebody else say. Naomi said, I was really not feeling it and I don't like faking. I even told a guy mid-date that it was not working. Naomi, nothing wrong with that. I have got up and left men in the middle of a date before. Trust me, true story. It's on my Patreon. Models needed for microblading. What the fuck are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? I would never get microblading. I like to change my brow shape too much. Perfume Buzz, yeah. You need to tell this man, you know what? It has been good getting to know you, but I just don't see a romantic connection between us. Cut it off. There's no point in like talking to somebody that you don't like. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve them at all. So just cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it. I have the skincare routine recorded. I just haven't posted it yet because I have to do voiceover. I've been with my baby all weekend, so they don't really allow me to work. My baby, actually more things, the most common phrase I hear when hanging out with my child is, let's play, let's play, let's play, mama, let's play, let's play, let's play, let's play, mama, let's play, play with me, mama, play with me. Are you playing? Mama, can we play? Mama, can we play? Play with me, play with me. So it doesn't really allow me to think or do anything else. I just play. So, yeah. I feel at this age, I don't want to teach a man how to be a man. Okay, don't. Anyway, let's do one last question for the night. Any last questions for the night? I have a 2-year-old boss baby that really thinks he's in control of everything. I don't know if my baby thinks they're in control. They try to be. You feel like you're out of his league. Yeah, you don't like him. Perfume Buzz, why are we still talking about this? Do you have a kink for talking about people you don't like or something? Are you like jerking off? You touching yourself? Because why are we still talking about it? Case closed, baby. A famous poet said, "Bag a lady, you gon' miss your bus. You can't hurry up, 'cause you got too much stuff. When they see you coming, niggas take off running." Let that go, baby. I remind him that everyone has free will and choices. It's gone. Thank God. Thank God. Are you a hardcore swirler? Are you asking if I date white men? Is that what you're asking me? Oh, someone who dates outside their race. Okay, that's a good question to end on. I do date outside my race. I haven't since I've been single because little to no non-black men approach me. But one of the reasons I got on a dating app initially was because I don't have a problem meeting black men who are interested in me, but I don't really meet men who are not black who are interested in me. And I thought that maybe a dating app could be an opportunity to kind of meet somebody who's not black who might be interested in me that I wouldn't meet out in the wild. But I sort of debunked my own theory a bit, because the reality is I do like to be in spaces where I feel comfortable. And sometimes those spaces are mainly black. And so if I don't meet somebody out where I am comfortable, should I be dating them? Because they're probably going to take me out to spaces to where I might not be as comfy. So it's kind of like a thing you have to kind of balance. But it's crazy because when I was younger, different races did approach me, and I'm thinking maybe it's because it could be a number of things, right? It could be I'm older now. It could be I'm older and non-black men, do they like younger women? Maybe. It could be I'm older now and I have a lot more confidence than I did when I was like 19 or 20, the last time I was single, and being approached by men who aren't black, and maybe those men can find me to be quite intimidating. I'm 5'8". I'm pretty. I'm brown skinned, dark skinned. I look good and I smell good, so maybe they find that to be a bit intimidating. Or it could just be I'm really not in proximity with a lot of men who aren't black. I think it's probably a combination of all three. So yeah, I would be open to dating outside my race, but I'm not open to dating someone who has any internalized white supremacy or racism, or supports any racist ideals about black people or about any other people of color. So some guys, you look too good to be single. I'm a guy. To some guys, you look too good to be single. Astronaut status, thank you very much. I have also come to the conclusion that I was married for a while, and so to some men, I've heard men say that I look like I am being well taken care of by somebody. So I don't look single. I've heard that as well. But I'm open to dating guys who are not black. I've always been open to it. I went to a predominantly white high school. I've dated guys when I was younger who aren't black, Hispanic guys, Mexican guys, white guys. Asian guys. Asian guy. You know, I've dated all types of black guys. I was married to a West African. I've dated Brazilian guys. You know, I'm pretty well traveled as well. So, yeah, I'm open to it. And I don't have a preference for black men or non-black men. I like who likes me as long as they look good and smell good. We'll see. But I do date a lot of black men just because they approach me. And, you know, we have a lot of things in common. So, bye TikTok Tosh. I'm about to get off too, but, yeah. I just approached you the last live. Well, I said black men, any type of men, but I don't remember you approaching me. You black, so what I don't. Did I look at your social media or something? Oh, that story with the WA was real. I thought it was just for your comedy. Oh, the West African? No, that's a real story. You sent the Cash App while I was on live. Okay, but did you send me 3 pictures and a bio on Instagram, astronaut status? I don't, you know. Did you send an email or something? I don't. You sent me a Cash App. Didn't I tell you to Cash App me $50 and you Cash App me $6 or something like that? Is that what happened? I don't remember. I go live just about every day. You said the last live, like that was yesterday. No, it was weeks ago, I think. At least in my head, that was 3 weeks ago. So, right? Had to have been at least 2 weeks ago. Bye, JD. Oh, you asked for 200. I sent 25. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate it. I probably ate that up already. My belly is nice and full now. Appreciate you. So, do you want to send me 3 pictures in a bio or something on Instagram? Because right now, can't nobody see you. You standing in front of a truck and you got a trash bag on. Listen, if you want to submit an application, you have to DM me on Instagram because that's the only place I check my DMs. Or you can email me. You have to send me 3 pictures and a bio. I think I'm so funny. I do. But Cash App wasn't gonna tell me more about you. That's just to get my little attention a little bit. And the 175. You know, like, you're supposed to send me the Cash App and then DM me and say, hey, I'm the person that sent you the Cash App. Like, yeah, a little bit of money, a little bit of attention. Like, but you gotta send me the, I don't know what to say. You have to send me something. Why are you trying to get my attention, astronaut status? What city do you live in, and how tall are you? You have my attention now. What city are you in, and how tall are you? Let me know. And don't try to add any inches. I hate it when men try to add inches. Anywhere. So don't add inches up here and don't add inches out here. Just tell the truth. We're waiting. Astronaut status, we're here on Earth waiting for you. What city are you in, and how tall are you? North Carolina. Okay. And how tall are you? I think I said Durham. It's actually Durham. Durham. You're 5'7", height 6 feet, and all the things money can't buy. Okay, I think we discussed this. I'm 5'8". So unfortunately, you're not tall enough to ride this ride. Some like to call me Jazmyn the Stallion. So unfortunately, it's not going to work, honey. But I do appreciate your submission. It's several inches when I put my heels on, actually. And the reality is I've dated men who were my height, or, my height, honestly. And, I've done my time. I'm not really interested in dating men who aren't taller than me at this point, just because it turns me on when they're taller than me. So yeah. But I appreciate your submission. Thank you for your application. And that's going to conclude our dating advice for tonight. Everybody, have a good night. Bye. 1 inch can make a lot of difference in satisfaction.